If you were on YouTube in 2007, there's a pretty strong chance you've seen this video. This is Stick Figures on Crack, a video trilogy referenced on playgrounds and in the classrooms of elementary schools across the United States. I personally remember me and all my friends referencing this video every day in 6th grade, especially looking at each other and saying, "Damn!" This trilogy was created by a user named PivotMasterDX, a YouTuber who joined the website in August of 2006, and just over 2 years later, he would amass over 50,000 subscribers, becoming the number 36th most subscribed comedian on the platform. The channel would continue growing, even at one point reaching 100,000 subscribers. However, one day, seemingly out of nowhere, all of the original videos on the channel were deleted, while a handful of new videos were uploaded, including this. A famous shock video by the name of Meat Spin was uploaded to the profile, and not too long after, the channel was officially suspended. And just like that, PivotMasterDX was gone, and has since never been heard from again. So, what actually happened? Did PivotMasterDX just snap one day and decide to upload Meat Spin to his unsuspecting fans? Or was it something else? Or someone else? And if so, who was behind it? Well, today, I'm going to answer these questions, including introducing you to the person behind the reason why the PivotMasterDX channel disappeared. So please, join me as we discuss the hacking of PivotMasterDX. Now, everything I'm about to talk about happened a really long time ago, and there isn't much evidence of this online anymore besides a couple of leftover videos on YouTube and an article or two with little to no information. So you might wonder how I know so much about what happened to PivotMasterDX. Well, the answer is actually quite embarrassing. What you're watching right now was my attempt at doing Pivot. I created a handful of videos using the Pivot Animator and uploaded them under the name PivotLordMZ. I really wish I could say all of this was an ironic joke, but no, I was actually trying. So yeah, I was pretty deep into the world of Pivot. This simple computer program was free to use, easy to download, and simple to understand, thus making it immensely popular amongst young YouTubers, many of which created animated videos using the program, plenty of which you can still find today. But above all the Pivot creators out there, there was one specific user who was the god of Pivot animations, and that was PivotMasterDX. Joining in August of 2006, PivotMasterDX only needed to create a handful of Pivot animations and a few YouTube poops to gain a whopping 10,000 subscribers. Now it's important to state that 10,000 subscribers at this time on YouTube was considered a pretty big deal, but on November 21st, 2007, PivotMasterDX would upload the first of 3 videos in a trilogy, which would launch his channel's success to new heights. This video was the original Stick Figures on Crack. Stick Figures on Crack was this compilation of fast-paced skits and other random stuff these stick figures would be doing, and yeah, it was great. I know anyone who only knows new YouTube doesn't think this video is special at all, but in late 2007, this was some of the best content you could get. In just 6 months, this video surpassed 200,000 views, which again was really impressive for the time it was uploaded. And then, on May 20th, 2008, PivotMasterDX uploaded Stick Figures on Crack 2, and just 3 days later, treated his fans to Stick Figures on Crack 3. Now these 2 videos blew up, with Stick Figures on Crack 2 gaining 60,000 views, and Stick Figures on Crack 3 hitting 100,000 views, both in under a month. PivotMasterDX continued creating these Pivot videos, including Bounce, a fan-made music video for the song Bounce from System of a Down, One of Fanta, his take on the old Fanta commercials, and other random videos mostly consisting of inside jokes and memes. And within a year, the channel had amassed an astounding 75,000 subscribers with millions of views. PivotMasterDX even became a YouTube partner, reaching the number 36th most subscribed comedian overall on the website. At this point, it seemed as if everything was going great for PivotMasterDX. However, in early August of 2009, people who visited the channel were surprised to see all of the videos on his profile were gone. Fans were confused over what was happening, But the PivotMasterDX account offered a short explanation, saying that the account was hacked by a user named PivotMasterES. PivotMasterES was another pivot animator who made videos similar to PivotMasterDX, however, he was nowhere near as popular. Almost immediately, fans of PivotMasterDX began spamming the ES account, asking why he would do such a thing. And these comments continued pouring in for days. And then, not long after, a new video was posted to PivotMasterDX, titled Stick Figures on Crack 4. Many fans thought the entire channel hacking thing was just an elaborate joke to build up to the 4th installment of the legendary series. So, they clicked on the video. But instead of humorous stick figure skits, they retreated to this. An infamous shock video by the name of Meatspin had been uploaded onto the channel. This obviously shocked plenty of fans and was quickly flagged and removed. And then just a few days later, the bio of the PivotMasterDX channel saw an update, which said the following.
Everything is resolved. PivotMasterES gave me the account back. Stop flaming PivotMasterES. He gave it back. But go ahead and flame him for taking it in the first place. But yeah, I'm back, and stop whining, you guy.
Alongside this bio update was a new uploaded video titled New Account, which stated he was moving to a new account by the name of They See Me Trolling LOL. This channel had several of the original PivotMasterDX videos uploaded to it, and was able to gain thousands of subscribers in just a few days. The bio on this profile read the following.
As a lot of you guys know, a video by the hacker was uploaded to my main profile. I apologize for the viewers who actually watched the video. Remember, I wasn't the one who uploaded to my main channel. It was hacked.
But a lot of people weren't convinced, and knew this had to still be the hacker. Additionally, one of PivotMasterDX's known friends, Electric Fridge, posted a video named Watch This Before Flaming, which showed a message they had received from the They See Me Trolling profile, claiming they were PivotMasterES. This caused the spamming of PivotMasterES to hit an all-time high, and finally, the PivotMasterES channel would respond. This short video was named In 3 Weeks. Now this video, like many others in this drama, have been removed from YouTube, but luckily, a YouTube channel by the name of Stop PivotMasterES inadvertently archived their response video in their channel's only video. In this video, we can see that PivotMasterES said the following.
I am on vacation right now, and in 3 weeks I'll be back at my computer and will post proof it wasn't me. Unless Martin, who is supposedly the one to take revenge on me for the hacking, wants to destroy my computer before then.
The video also featured an annotation saying that the message shown by Electric Fridge was fake, further saying he was being framed. But that didn't matter, and people continued blaming him for the hacking. But sometime later, people noticed a known backup channel for PivotMasterDX, PMDX01, started uploading videos and communicating with fans. For once, fans thought the original PivotMasterDX was back. There were even some new Pivot videos uploaded to both the original account and this account. But suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, this channel updated for the final time. This time, the channel had several links to a new channel that hadn't been mentioned anywhere in this entire story. This channel was XCrownX. The bio also updated saying that the message from Electric Fridge was fake, and there was even a new upload called The Story of PivotMasterDX. This video linked to a video on the XCrownX profile with the same name, which explained everything about the hack. Now this video hasn't been archived anywhere online that I could find, but I personally remember watching it many times. The original video had plenty of visual proof, and in it, Crown claimed that they were the one responsible for the hack. They decided to frame PivotMasterES and had been the one controlling all of the accounts the entire time. They also stated that the hacking of PivotMasterDX was a request, which is why they decided to hack him in the first place. And just like that, the story of PivotMasterDX was finished. Sure, people spent some time attacking the hacker, but now that we knew who actually hacked PivotMasterDX, there wasn't much left to discuss. Around this time, the PivotMasterDX account was officially shut down, and interest in the topic quickly faded away. Most people quickly forgot about the entire situation, and this entire story was practically lost to time. After this, the Pivot community was basically over. Remember, the Pivot community was a large community of fans and creators with their own inside jokes and memes, as well as online forums and groups within the world of Pivot. But with the suspension of this one channel, many of the remaining animators quit YouTube, and within just a few months, the fanbase for Pivot dissolved. There's a strong argument to be made that the death of the PivotMasterDX channel took the entire Pivot community with it. Now, there's no changing the fact that the Pivot community is gone, and has been gone for nearly 15 years at this point. But one question that's always plagued me, and anyone who remembers this story, of all people, why was PivotMasterDX the channel that was targeted? It doesn't make any sense why anyone would want to get rid of a YouTuber who had so many fans. I knew nobody else would ever tackle this story, so I knew that if it was ever going to be told, it would have to be me. So I set out to figure out who hacked PivotMasterDX and why. So usually, one of the first things I do when trying to find answers on these online mysteries is to test any known links regardless of age, because why wouldn't I at least try? We learned earlier that the guy who hacked the account was a user by the name of XCrownX, so I decided to type in youtube.com/user/XCrownX, and I pressed the enter button not expecting anything to come of it. But surprisingly, something actually came up. To my surprise, the original account which was behind the hacking of PivotMasterDX was still up. And not only was it still up, but it was somewhat active in 2023. XCrownX had now become Corrupt Crown, and their channel consisted of videos of song remixes as well as 2 playlists. And that's it. Nowhere on this profile were any references to what happened in 2009. Other than one video in their favorites. With no other useful links or leads, I simply left a comment on the channel asking if I could message them. And then honestly, I forgot about it. I spent the next 2 months doing totally normal things like spending the week at the Gathering of the Juggalos, importing Eminem bootlegs across international waters, and even seeing a Kidz Bop concert by myself. By the way, all these videos can be watched on my channel right now. But on the 23rd of July, nearly 3 months after I left the comment, I got a notification on my phone telling me I had a reply.
Don't know if I want my Discord blasted for everyone to see in a video, but sure.
Followed by their Discord username. So I shot them a friend request on Discord, and what followed was about an hour of exchanging messages back and forth, discussing the PivotMasterDX situation. One of the first things they told me, and probably the biggest thing that caught me off guard, was the fact that they claimed that they were only around 12 years old at the time of the hacking. I went on to ask how they got into the account, as well as why they would blame it on PivotMasterES. First, they explained how PivotMasterES was just some guy who was a knockoff PivotMasterDX, and that was it. But their explanation for how they got into the account is what interested me big time.
Back then, people were so dumb they would ask me how do I hack people, and I'd just send them my keylogger, and they would run it, and I'd add their hacked channel to my you got owned haha funny list I had on my channel. It was so simple getting a bunch of people all thinking that some crazy person was exploiting a loophole in YouTube's code, and my young dumb self thought it was funny. Though now I just feel bad that it ruined someone's achievements.
They later went on to say,
yeah, when they took over his good friend's MSN Messenger with the keylogger code, they sent the same keylogger to George on MSN, like, hey bro, new Pivot 3.0 just came out. And since they were such good friends, he just ran the .exe without even thinking anything about it. I still, oddly enough, remember the password he used on his YouTube. It was LOLbox123. Quite the password to protect your channel before the days of two-factor authentication. I'm pretty sure they invented that because of me. I used to be snooping through so many people's accounts on everything back in the day, since it picked up every single password people had stored in their computers. Nowadays, I don't do much besides code and watch people play games on Discord. I grew out of the wanting to mess with people mindset. Plus, two-factor authentication does make it harder to just log in and cause chaos on people's stuff now.
Now if you don't know what a keylogger is, you're not alone. I played it off like I knew what it was not to look like an idiot, but I googled it afterwards and here's what I found. A keylogger is a program which is able to track what a person types on a keyboard. Basically, the keylogger will record every button you press, and using that information, a hacker can steal basically anything you would type. With the knowledge of how they hacked him, I still wanted to know the why of it all. Why did Crown decide to hack PivotMasterDX?
It wasn't even my idea. was some Scottish kid named KillerKarrit or something that made Call of Duty trolling videos, if I remember correctly. But I did help them execute it since I knew how we could do it.
Now, the name KillerCarrot might sound familiar if you watched Call of Duty trolling videos back in the day, because not only was KillerCarrot a master of trolling, he was well known for it. As of right now, the KillerCarrot channel has over 45,000 subscribers, and practically all of the videos are of him trolling. And if you don't know who he is, his channel bio says everything you need to know. The fact that Crown said it was Karrit's idea shocked me, and Crown continued by saying the following.
The Scottish kid was extremely toxic and just wanted to cause chaos. I'm not sure about his age since I was so young, but I recall him being like 15 when I was probably 12 or so. He was the one who suspended the YouTube account by attaching an already suspended email to the PivotMasterDX YouTube channel. Once you do that, it triggered an automatic permanent ban. They thought it was funny. They had me make a keylogger to send to his friend and use his friend's MSN Messenger account to send it to PivotMasterDX. I took all the credit because KillerKarrit was trying to build a reputation on YouTube and I had no YouTube channel, so I didn't care about negative backlash. I was 12 and got a kick out of being the bad guy. LOL.
This was the first time KillerCarrot came up in all of this research, and even though the toxicity which reeked from the KillerCarrot channel was obvious, saying that he was the one who came up with the idea to hack him was a huge accusation. And with something that big, I couldn't possibly not let him have a word on the matter. So, I shot him a message on Facebook, and within a day, he shot me a message back. I straight up explained how Crown said it was his idea to begin with, and this is what he had to say.
It wasn't me who wanted to get into the channel in the first place. That was Crown and a friend of mine from back in the day called Jimmy. Crown is the one who hacked the channel. I'm sure he sent PivotMasterDX a keylogger which gave him all of his saved passwords. Once I knew they had access to the account, I did want access, but they never gave it to me. They made another channel called They See Me Trollin' LOL or something like that, which they pretended was PivotMasterDX's new account. I had access to that, but never PivotMasterDX.
He then went on to tell me reasons why Crown would possibly blame the idea of the hack on him, but also remembered the meat spin clickbait title too. But ultimately, there wasn't much else here. And personally, I don't really think it matters who was the one who originally came up with the idea, but just knowing that there were multiple people involved, including one of the greatest Call of Duty trollers, as well as 2 other mystery people, shows just how many people were involved in this hack. The last thing we discussed, and honestly the part that shocked me most, was the fact that Crown regrets what he did. According to Crown, not only did the hacking cause PivotMasterDX to leave YouTube, but it also caused PivotMasterDX and his girlfriend to break up. I asked Crown how he knew that, and he told me that either PivotMasterDX or his girlfriend told him that. Apparently, Crown was friendly with both PivotMasterDX as well as his girlfriend after the hack, which I could only imagine made Crown feel worse. We spent a little bit more time discussing hacking and Crown's abilities, which is really interesting, and I suggest pausing and reading these messages. I won't read this out loud because the video is long enough, but trust me, it's pretty interesting, especially when you remember that this was a literal child doing it. But they did want me to make sure to say to never save any passwords on a browser, or trust any sort of password manager. And with that, my discussion with Crown was finished. We'd parted ways, and I knew basically everything that was to be known about this story. Well, almost everything. One thing stuck out to me about this whole story. I was able to figure out who was the person behind the hacking, but one thing was still uncertain. Who was behind PivotMasterDX in the first place? Well, I was able to figure that out. Somewhat. As you might remember from earlier, we discussed one of PivotMasterDX's friends, Electric Fridge. During my research on the Wayback Machine, the description of his YouTube channel featured an interesting bit of info, stating that PivotMasterDX could now be found on a new channel by the name of Dusty Dictionary. This channel was only available on the Wayback Machine and featured nothing besides a single link in the bio. This link took us to yet another channel by the name of Rubber Salad. This channel is still available, and actually has an upload. This upload was titled OnYonReng, and this is what that video is. You might be confused by what this means, but the link in the bio makes it clear. OnYonReng is the name of yet another YouTube channel, but this one seems to be the channel that PivotMasterDX mainly uses. While there hasn't been any uploads in 5 years, and most of the uploads are basically shitposts, there are a handful of pivot videos which I think conclude how PivotMasterDX views his animation past. The first video is titled Stick Figures on Crack 4. Now, you might be excited at the prospect of a lost fourth installment of the greatest animated comedy series in YouTube history. However, when you watch the video, what you actually get is a crudely animated, low-quality version of the series. It's obvious that he can animate a million times better than this, so the video has to mean something else. In my opinion, it's probably just him saying the fourth Stick Figures on Crack video is never gonna happen, and he's making fun of everyone who keeps asking for it. The second video is Pivot 1, and honestly, it speaks for itself. And finally, on June 17th, 2013, the world would see its final PivotMasterDX animation. This video was titled Pivot 2. Now sadly, I can't play the original audio for copyright reasons, but it's the famous scene from Friends where they try to carry a couch upstairs and the one guy is yelling, "Pivot!" Only this time, we see a stick figure yelling at another stick figure on a laptop to pivot. He keeps yelling at him until the stick figure gets up, yells at the others to shut up, and walks away. The video ends with this stick figure telling the others that he doesn't think he's gonna pivot anymore. With that, I think it's pretty obvious that PivotMasterDX is not only done with Pivot, but he's pretty tired of everyone asking him about it. For whatever reason, he never got back into Pivot, and honestly, we might never know why. But something tells me that these 3 Pivot videos are the closest thing we will ever get to true closure of this story. After watching these OnYonReng Pivot videos, I honestly felt pretty happy with where the story ended, and it finally felt like I was able to tell the story in a way that did it justice. I closed YouTube, but as I sat my phone down, I started thinking back to the good old days. At that time, I was creating videos on my personal account, doing what I felt like doing, and having fun. Being a 12-year-old kid scrolling YouTube, kicked back in my bedroom, fantasizing about being the next big thing on the platform, even thinking back to the PivotLordMZ channel. Even though the whole thing is cringe to look back on, at least I was having fun. I was doing what I felt like doing, and not worried about any analytics. Not worried about monetization. Not worried about making sure the next video was better than the last. I was just having fun, instead of sometimes treating this way more seriously than I should. And maybe, just maybe, that's why PivotMasterDX never returned. Maybe he felt like it wasn't fun anymore. Maybe he felt like YouTube was changing, and maybe he was too. Maybe he just didn't feel the pivot animations anymore, and the hacking gave him a way out. Honestly, we'll probably never know, unless PivotMasterDX decides to step forward and finally give his side of the story, but honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath. The story of PivotMasterDX is a forgotten one, but it shouldn't be. Not only from a YouTube standpoint, but also just from the standpoint of PivotMasterDX being truly one of the best on the platform. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for breeding many people's middle school humor. I don't really know how to end this video, as the second it's over, so is PivotMasterDX. I mean, he's been gone for such a long time, but now that the story has been told, there's nothing else involving him left. I know it sounds weird, but it makes me sad in a way. But maybe that's for the best. And maybe sometimes moving on from the good old days is what's best. But I do know one thing. I definitely don't miss the middle school me. Look at how long my hair was.